Hey everybody, welcome back to the Royal Read. I am so glad you decided to stop by and see what I'm reading on. But before we get started, you already know I ask you to do it every single day. Why? Because we are building a community. We are building a tribe. And let me tell you, I am thrilled. I am thrilled with my community. It is the best. It is filled with such terrific people. And listen, if you want to be a part of it, you know what you need to do. Go down in the settings, look around, find that subscribe button, and go ahead on and subscribe. And while you're in there, hit your notification bell too so you know when I upload or when I just want to pop in. And give me a thumbs up to fight my nemesis, the beast, the algorithm. Y'all, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It has been handing me my butt lately. But thank y'all for supporting me with all those great thumbs ups. I appreciate it. I tell you something else I appreciate. I appreciate all of the readers who decide to support the channel by watching the commercials. It is everything and it really, really helps the channel. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for doing that because it is so appreciated. Also, look over there in the corner. That's our join button. That's for channel memberships. And if you choose to become a channel member and a part of the reading club, you will be supporting my channel to grow, to improve, and to continue. And I'll be so grateful, so thankful, so over the moon appreciative for that support. Also, if you just want to do a one-time donation, our super thanks button is in the opposite corner. And all donations are greatly, greatly appreciated. All right, y'all, we do have some super thanks. We do. And first up is Jennifer Clark. Jennifer, what can I say about Jennifer? She is just everything. She is always in the comments. I mean, just dropping the knowledge and just coming through just with all of the wit. I mean, she is just everything. She's funny, she's sweet, she's like I said, she's just everything. And she is a ride or die. She is that as well. And let me tell you, I appreciate her. I do. This community is better because she is in it. Also, Ella Gully. Ella Gully is one of my ride or die. She's always coming through with the support. She is such a big supporter of this channel and such a big part of this community. I know. She has come through and just become such a part of this community. Because Ella hadn't been with us that long, but boy, has she come through. And boy, is she faithful to the channel. And I am so thankful and so grateful for her. And then Mary Daniels. Mary is one of the ride or dies. And Mary is one of the OG readers. She is. She is one of the readers that helped me build this place. She did. She was here in the beginning and helped me to build this community, follower by follower by follower, reader by reader by reader. And let me tell you, I appreciate it so much. I'm telling you, sometime I would be down and Mary would give me an encouraging word. Whew, she is one of the OGs and I am so thankful for her. I'm so thankful for her support. And I'm just most of all thankful that she is a part of this community. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Jennifer Clark. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Ella Gully. And thank you, thank you, thank you, Mary Daniels, for just being you. And also thank you for the super thanks. I want to play this. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you to Jennifer Clark. Thank you, thank you, thank you to Ella Gully. And thank you, thank you, thank you to the OG reader. That would be Mary Daniels. Yes, thank y'all. Thank y'all for supporting the channel. It means everything. All right, y'all. With all that said, let's get to the read. Of course, we have a lot as usual. My timeline is spinning. It is. It's spinning out of control. And y'all know when I am putting a read together, y'all know what I do. I hit these internet streets. And let me tell you, that is where I have been today. Now, I have had a busy day, but never, ever, ever too busy not to hit these internet streets and find out, try to put my finger on what the squatties are up to, what they're talking about, what is the chit chat on these social media streets. And let me tell you, it's hairy. It's hairy. I have been on all the social media platforms, and let me tell you, it is hairy. On each one, my timeline is spinning. It is. The squatties are out and about speaking the truth. They are on these internet streets just absolutely saying what needs to be said. Pretty much what I said in my last pop-up, that Charles and William are deadly people. And it was clear as day now that they never ever wanted Meghan around. It was the Queen and Harry. It was the Queen who gave her permission for Harry to marry Meghan. Charles didn't want it. William didn't want it. But the Queen went against them both, and she wanted Harry to be happy. Absolutely. And Meghan was stepping into a lion's den the minute she set foot over there. They were plotting and scheming how to get rid of her, one way or the other. And y'all know what I mean by one way or the other. Either the highway or the hearse. I am not kidding with you. And this is what the squatties are saying. They're saying it out loud. They're saying it out proud. They are saying it for everyone to hear. They're talking about Diana. If he's capable of this, he was capable of that. But we all know here on the Royal Read, we have been saying this ever since we came into existence. Go back, look at all of my podcasts. You will see I have made several podcasts about how I felt these people had treated Diana and how it just worked out too well for Charles and his horse. I have said it time and time again. And now that Harry has come through with some bombshells. Now, we hadn't saw these many bombshells since the Oprah interview. But Harry, I'm telling you, Harry was like he was back on his Apache helicopter dropping bombs. He absolutely torched Buckingham Palace. He did. He left it in flames. And all I can say is, I love it. I love it. It's good that they were exposed. Why? Because it makes Harry, Meghan, and those babies safer. They want to keep it undercover in the dark of the night so they can get away with doing what they wanted to do since the beginning for Meghan. But now that Harry has put it on Front Street for everyone to see, they can't do it anymore. Harry has managed to outsmart, outmaneuver, outwit these mediocre people and all of their households. He has. He put it on Front Street so if anything were to happen to him, his wife, or either one of his children, he said it. It's their fault. He might as well put on one of those NFL big hands with the pointing finger and point it at Buckingham Palace. I love it. I just love it because they deserve that. And I'll tell you another thing Harry did that I loved. Harry let them know that he had more in his pocketbook. Y'all know how I love that term. I got something in my pocketbook. Meaning I got something, if I pull it out, it is not going to be good for you. So Harry has something in his pocketbook. He definitely does. And he let them know, I know what you did and I know who did it. And let me tell you, if they slip up and somehow bump their heads and think that we're back in the 90s and they can get away with the same nonsense that they got away with Diana and do that in 2025, ooh, they are sorely, sorely mistaken because Harry not only has the Sussex squad, he has the goods. And baby, all he has to do is write a book. All he has to do in his will to say, release it all, and the Sussex squad will rain hellfire on all of them over there. It will never, ever, ever survive. One hair on one of the Sussex's head, that monarchy will not survive it if one hair is harmed. I guarantee it. And here in the South, we have a term that we say, and it said, I guarantee it. We always put a curse word in the middle of a word. And yes, I guarantee you that that monarchy will not survive because hellfire will rain down and it won't stop. If you go on my timeline and you go on these internet streets, the squatties are already building the fire that they're going to use to burn it down. Meaning they are absolutely bringing up Diana. What about her? What happened to her? How could she enter a tunnel in Paris and never come out alive? What happened there? If this person is so treacherous, evil, and uncaring towards his own flesh and blood, his son, what would he have done to a woman he felt was in the way of him marrying his horse? What do y'all think? I have always said it just worked out too sweet. That was too sweet of a deal. Diana perishing, and somehow he gets everything he wants out of the deal. Mm, something to think about, isn't it? And I'm telling you, the squatties, nobody believes it anymore. Nobody believes it anymore. It is even people calling for a new investigation. Dig it up. They always digging up the queen. Every time they want to try to punish, to humble, or somehow discredit Harry in any kind of way. Meghan as well. They dig the queen up. Well, we say dig them all up. Dig them up. And let's see what they have to say. I'm just saying. All right, y'all, let's get started with this one right here. And this particular squatty reminds us of something that Megan said when her and Harry sat down with Oprah Winfrey for that famous interview. And Megan said this: "It's very clear the protection of me or Archie is not a priority." And I must admit, when I heard that, I was saying, why would Megan say that? I mean, it's like it was a piece that was missing. And you're trying to figure out, wait a minute, am I missing something? Is something happened prior that I'm not in the loop about? And then she went on to say, I accept that. That is fine. Please keep my husband safe. Please don't pull his security and announce to the world when he and we are most vulnerable. And they said, it's just not possible. And they said, it's just not possible. And later on, we figured out what Megan was talking about in the Harry and Meghan documentary, that Charles had pulled their security while they were on Vancouver Island with Archie. I think Archie was maybe 9 months old. He was an arm baby. And they informed Harry that they were pulling his security. Why? Because Harry said they wanted him and Meghan back under their control. And that's when Tyler Perry stepped in. But I still couldn't figure out why Megan was saying that she knew that she was not a priority. She said, it's very clear the protection of me or Archie is not a priority. Now, when Megan said that in the Oprah Winfrey interview and kind of made it clear what she was referring to in the Harry and Meghan documentary, it has only come crystal clear in Harry's interview with the BBC. This particular squatty said this: he has names and receipts. I don't want history to repeat itself, though the disclosure process, I have discovered that some people want history to repeat itself, which is pretty dark, I know. Yes, what is Harry talking about here? Well, I'm going to put this up. This right here is what Harry said in his statement that he posted on Sussex.com after the interview. He said in November 2017, before it was known that the royal household held a seat on Revit, a secret committee decided that my wife shouldn't receive protection upon joining the royal family. It was only when I asked who was willing to bear the risk that the decision was reversed. That's what Prince Harry said. They never, ever wanted to keep Meghan safe. They treated her different right off the top. They did. They said that they didn't have money. Charles said it. He didn't have money to feed or clothe or house her. She wasn't even an official employee of the so-called firm. And now we have learned they didn't even want to give her protection. No security for Meghan. So she was going to be walking around, the only person of color of that royal family, unprotected. if it had been up to Charles, and if he hadn't been found out, at least Harry called them out, saying, who's going to be the one, if something happens to her, that is going to bear the brunt of what they have done? Who's going to accept the blame if something happens to her? And then, only then, when they figured out if something happens to her, then we'll get blowback. Somebody will have to take the blame, so we'll give it to her. Can you imagine? This is why Megan said, I know you don't care about my protection or the protection of Archie. And also, let's think back to the Oprah Winfrey interview when Megan said they did not want to give Archie protection. Y'all remember that? That was one of the reasons they cited for them having a problem with that family. And as well, that they wanted to change all the rules around so Archie would have never became Prince Archie. They wanted to do it just for Archie, changing it around. They never, ever wanted this woman of color in this family, and they let her know right out of the gate. Right out of the gate. We're not paying for you. Feed yourself. We are not clothing you, but we're going to pretend like your clothes is clothes that we pay for in the press. We're going to leak that so people can hate you because they're going to say that you're spending hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of their taxpayer money on your clothes, when in actuality, these are clothes you have purchased yourself. But yet and still, they're planning story after story after story that Megan was spending taxpayer money, and then created a narrative and shaped a narrative that she didn't deserve it. What she was getting from the firm, it was undeserved. And in actuality, she was getting nothing. She was getting absolutely nothing. She was not getting any protection until Harry intervened. They didn't want to give that to her. They didn't give her a clothes allowance like they did Kate or Camilla. Let's not get it twisted. Megan was never treated like Kate and Camilla were when they came into that family. But when they came into their family, they were protected. They were fully financed. They were given the protection of the firm. Megan had none of that. None of that. They pretend like they welcome her, and in actuality, they didn't. They were working behind the scenes to keep her out. Now, was it based on racism, or was it just based on the fact that they saw the potential in Megan? They saw her excellence and they wanted no part of it because of Charles's deep ingrained insecurities and pathetic need to not be overshadowed. This man showed what a insecure, immature, insufferable, self-focused, sad human being that he is in the Dimbleby book. It was there for everyone to see that he did not have the ability of normal people to see other people's pain, to have empathy. He did not. It was all about him, his needs, his desires, his wants, and he could never, ever see past that. And that is why he did not want Megan in that family. And his partner in crime was William, because William did not want her in the family either. Why? Now, he had some much different reasons, but his main reason is that he knew Harry had married better than him. And he really started to understand that, to realize that when Kate, he looked at Kate in comparison to Megan, and he knew right then and there Harry had outdone him, and he could not, would not have that. And then that is when he joined forces with Charles to absolutely try to stop Harry from marrying Megan. The fix was in from the beginning. It was no welcoming Megan. It was no giving her a chance. It was full on war on her to keep her out of the family. That's where that whole speech from Charles came from. That it was no money. They had no money for Megan and didn't give up no money for Megan. Did not want to give her security and did not pay for one penny of her wardrobe, but yet and still behind the scenes working to stop the wedding. So now it's very clear that what happened here, that Megan never stood a chance. She was being sent to the lion's den. I hear so many people, well, she knew she was what she was getting into. She knew what she was getting into. She had no idea what she was getting into. Who could have? Who could imagine the level of treachery that this family embodies? Who? Who? Who can imagine that? But now it's clear. It's clear to Harry, and it's clear to anybody who wants to pay attention that Charles and William never, ever wanted Megan to be a part of that family. It's there. It's there. And so all we can do now is to continue to call them out for what they are. It's no use in pretending anymore. It's no use of saying, why is this happening? The reason all of this happened is because of Charles and William. All of that leaking before they were even engaged, all of that horrible, horrible press about her being straight out of Compton and her having exotic DNA was all orchestrated by Charles and William. Let's not forget the Robert Johnson book, Catherine, the love letter to Kitty Cat, but some gems were planted in there. And one of them was that William had went to the Queen to secure her assurance that Megan would not be allowed to wear any of Princess Diana's jewelry until after the marriage. Why? Because he thought he was going to be successful in breaking Harry and Meghan up, and she would never, ever be seen in a piece of Diana's jewelry. He hated her already. Not because of anything she had done. They always talk about it was the Oprah interview. It was the Harry and Meghan documentary. No, it was way before that. It was the moment that he found out that Harry was in love with Meghan and his intentions were to marry her, and that Meghan was head, shoulders, knees, and toes better than Kitty Cat, the one he had chose to marry. And he was not having that. And we all know the reason Charles didn't want her is because he is a flaming racist and a malicious narcissist. That is the reason. Because he thought Meghan was going to overshadow him. And he could not have that because he had lived through the Diana years, bless his heart. And now he was finally just about to have his turn. And here comes this black woman with all this charisma, this intelligence, and this ability to get things done and know how to get things done. Didn't need the help of the firm to get things done. And that had to be stopped. And that's what happened. Now it's crystal clear that they never wanted Megan to be successful and never wanted her to be a part of that family. And at this point, want her dead. They want her dead. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is what the hate and the smear campaign was about. This is what the desperation to drag them back into the firm so they could finish the job. My belief. But it looks like my belief is exactly what went down here. I'm just saying. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this up. And this particular squatty said this. This paragraph gutted me the most to know that as far back as before Harry and Meghan were married, the British royal family had so much hatred for Meghan. You hear the demented people on TV, newspapers, and social media barking. But if she didn't go to Oprah, I say BS to all of that. Exactly. Exactly. You hear it over and over and over on panel after panel after panel. If it wasn't for Oprah, if it wasn't for the Harry and Meghan documentary. No, 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 no. This started way before. They never wanted Meghan to be safe. They always wanted her out there. They always wanted her to be targeted. When Meghan said they fed her to the wolves, she meant exactly that. But she did not tell us that they found the wolves, starved the wolves, and made the wolves hungrier and hungrier to devour her. It was all orchestrated from the palaces. They never ever meant to protect her. They never ever meant for her to survive. They never intended on her surviving this. I remember in the Harry and Meghan documentary when Harry said he went to his family and every ask was turned down, and they said that they wanted to leave, and Harry told them about Meghan's mental health struggles, that she wanted to unalive herself. And Harry said, what has to happen for us to be able to go? Well, he didn't know that was the point. It was the point that they wanted that to happen. They wanted her to unalive herself. This was always the goal. If she was going to be inside that family, if they didn't have the ability to stop that wedding, they were going to stop the marriage. And how was they going to stop the marriage? Meghan was going to unalive herself or something. I don't know, may have happened because you could see the ramping up, the desperation, the increased smearing. Piers Morgan was on the national television show every day, smearing, bullying, and absolutely destroying Meghan's mental health every day. And that right there was the plan. He was just a foot soldier in the war on Meghan. We see it so plainly now. My belief that they wanted her dead. And when they came to the conclusion that they wasn't going to be able to stop the wedding, they went to plan B. Plan B was to destroy her, wreck her to the point where she did it herself. And I believe, my belief, that if she hadn't unalived herself, because like I said, you could see it tick, 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 tick. I mean, like a roller coaster going up the hill before it just swoops down and falls off of the cliff. That's the way it was ramping up. And if she did not unalive herself, she would be unalived. She would be Diana. My belief. I'm just saying. But it's clear right here that they wanted her exposed to the elements. The only woman of color within that family, the only royal family member of color, they was not willing to give her security until they saw if something happened to her, they would have to take some heat for it. It was about them. The only reason Megan got security is because they didn't want to risk the blowback. Now let that one sit with you for a minute. Isn't that something? I'm just saying. All right, y'all. I'm going to put this up. And this particular squatty reposted the letter where Harry absolutely dropped the bomb that in November 2017, prior to him and Meghan getting married, that they did not even want to give Meghan security. He dropped that bomb. And this letter is on Sussex.com. If you hadn't read it or you hadn't saw it anywhere, go over there, read it. It's just extraordinary. It is. And if you hadn't saw that BBC interview, go on bbc.com. It's extraordinary. It's extraordinary. Everything is extraordinary. I have to keep using that word because I had to take some time to step back today to kind of give myself time to digest it all, because you know what you know, what you know. But when someone comes in, someone whose life it is, comes in and validates everything that you have believed for so long was going on, you have to take a minute. You have to absolutely take a beat to just soak it in. It is extraordinary. And like I said in my last podcast, a master stroke on Harry's part. Harry airing them out the way he has aired them out has put them in a position where it's on them. I'll put it that way. Especially that whole reconciliation that Harry spoke of. To be honest, I don't think Harry wants reconciliation. I don't think he did that to get reconciliation. Because if you listen to what Harry said, he said he wants reconciliation, but it can't be reconciliation without truth. And we all know, and we know he knows, that these people will never, ever own up to what they have done to him or his family. So Harry is not seeking reconciliation. He is seeking the high ground. He is putting the ball in their court. He has aired them out in a masterstroke, in a master chess move to say it's all on them. This is what they did to me. I am still gracious enough. I am still gracious enough to want reconciliation, but it has to be on them. It has to be on them. And that is why Charles Buckingham Palace had such a feeble response to what Harry had said. Because Harry aired him out because he's been running around here lying, saying that he's been Zoom calling the children and he wants a relationship with the children. Harry said he ain't never asked to see the children, his own grandchildren, aired him out, and then put the ball in his court. And who is to blame if it's no reconciliation? It's not Harry. It's Charles. They know Harry absolutely played them. He did. And it was beautiful to watch. I had to sit back and, like I said, take it all in and really figure out what Harry was doing here. Harry was taking it off of him and putting it on them. And if it's no reconciliation, it's because of them. And Harry knows it's not going to be a reconciliation because of the fact that they will not tell the truth. They will not tell the truth. So it's no reconciliation, and the blame continues to lie with them. Masterstroke. Chef's kiss, Harry. I love it. I love it. All right, y'all, let me go on with this particular post. This squatty said, so now we learn that from 2017, Charles tried to stop Meghan getting security as a senior working royal. And we all thought they couldn't have security because they wasn't a working royal. But Charles didn't want her to have it while she was a working royal. Explain that. Explain that. Only after Harry made them think what they were doing and it could be blowback on them, they decided to give her security. It wasn't about Meghan. They could have cared less. She could have absolutely been kidnapped and held for ransom that they would have never paid. They didn't care about that. It was the blowback for them. I'm just saying. It said, didn't want to pay for her upkeep, was concerned about Archie's skin tone, and was plotting to change the law to prevent Archie from getting a title and security. WTF. What the? Yes, I think a lot of us squatties are saying, what the? Yes, this is what Charles was doing. And when Meghan said it on the Oprah interview, they said she was lying. Y'all remember that? They had panel after panel after panel saying Meghan was lying. Everything Harry and Meghan has said has come out in the rinse. Yes, you know that old saying, it'll come out in the washing and the rinsing. It has come out in the washing and the rinsing. Exactly what Meghan and Harry said. And it's even worse than we thought. It's even worse. Meghan was in mortal danger over there. If she hadn't left, she would not have survived. Point blank, period. And that right there was the plan, my belief. And it is clear that that is exactly what Harry and Meghan believed as well. How can you not come to that conclusion once you really see everything that went down? They wanted Meghan dead. They wanted her gone by any means necessary. Harry was crying out for help, but they gave no help because their plan was working. He just didn't know about the plan. He wasn't in the loop. But they were happy when he came to them and was begging and saying that Meghan wanted to unalive herself. They thought they were real close to their goal. And then, with the help of Tyler Perry, they flipped the script on them and they escaped on the freedom flight. Yes, yes. But let's not get it twisted. It did not work out the way they wanted. They wanted a different outcome, Charles and William did, my belief. And that was Harry back under control with their feet firmly planted on his neck, and Meghan gone. Gone by unaliving or gone by leaving and divorcing Harry. But all they wanted her was to be gone. But it didn't work out that way. And now they have continued their smear campaign going on 9 years now. And they still can't understand why they have not broken these two. They can't. You can tell by the desperation, the level of smearing that they're doing. It's gutter at this point. They're toadies and they're flying monkeys. If you listen to their commentary, it has gotten to the gutter level. I saw where this Maureen Callahan was actually literally saying that Archie and Lily hated Meghan. They hate them. She said, they hate her. They hate her. Yes, this is what she was saying. And you know what? I threw my head back and cackled. Because when you see desperation at this level, you know you're winning. Because when you see bleach blonde, bad built, butch body Maureen Callahan talking nonsense at this level, desperation. Don't you smell it? She stank. She's stinking up the place, sitting up there with caked on makeup, showing how insecure she is, talking about Meghan, who's sitting up there with no makeup on and looking like she's in 10th grade, and you can hear her squawking because of it. Her insecurities is blaring. I had to put my fingers in my ears because she was squawking so loud. She's so butthurt. She is. She has to walk around in that tragedy that she calls a body, an even more tragic face of hers, and has built a career out of being a bitter bitch. Yes, that's exactly what her job description should say. I am a bitter bitch who absolutely had no chance of ever landing a prince, and now I walk around looking like a tragedy. I'm just saying. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this up, and this particular squatty proves 2 points. One, that when that family wants to protect someone, they can, and it doesn't matter who that person is. And number two, that Meghan was treated differently straight off the bat. She was treated like she was unimportant. She was treated like she was an add-on, never a priority like a royal family member would be treated. And I'm just going to say this. A lot of people take Queen Betty off the hook when it comes to this. But the Queen had full control of her faculties back in 2017. Back when they were saying that they wasn't going to treat Meghan as a equal, like all of the other women who have come into that family. Queen Betty went along with that. Now, did she soften as time goes by? Did she want Harry to be happy? Yes, she did, but she did not challenge Charles and William on this nonsense. She did not shut it down. She wrote a letter, but she did not command that Ravek give them their security. So she failed too. Now, at the latter end of her life, especially after Prince Philip died, she was not in control. But at this point in 2017, she was, and she did nothing. She didn't. I'm just saying. So I'm putting this up, and this particular squatter said this. In 2018, Kate Middleton had a royal protection officer when she was still Prince William's girlfriend. What you think about that? But yet and still, they gave Meghan nothing. Nothing. Meghan was in emails begging somebody to help her protect her mother. This was after the marriage. But yet and still, nothing for Meghan. And we're going to show that it was in their power to protect Doria. But they weren't thinking about that black lady. They wanted her to collect her black daughter and go back to America. That's all they were interested in. But let's go on. It says, in case they decided to take their relationship farther. This was just in case. Kate had a royal protection officer even back then. Meghan got none of that. And Meghan was going to marry into the family. She was going to be married in the family, and they wanted to give her no protection. They gave the protection to Kate Middleton, and they wouldn't even engage. They weren't even serious, just in case they decided to take the relationship to another level engagement. Kate Middleton, not engaged, not even serious to the point where the firm is just guessing maybe something will happen. She had a royal protection officer. Then Meghan was going to be married into the family. She was supposed to get nothing. Let's go on. It says in 2012, her sister Pippa had palace protection officers at the launch of her book. Pippa had royal protection officers at the launch of her book, but yet and still, Meghan is a member of the royal family, and they wanted her to have nothing. And it goes on to say, but Harry is denied security. Absolutely. Let's look at some of these headlines. Let's look at some of them. Look at this one. Kate Middleton given her own royal protection officer for the first time back in 2008. She was just a girlfriend. She wasn't a fiance or anything like that. She was just a girlfriend. Harry's girlfriends never had a protection officer. Chelsea Davies, they ran her ragged, putting trackers on her car and everything. But I bet you if she had came into that family, they would have gave her security. They just felt that Meghan of African descent did not rank high enough to have it. But yet and still, she went there and showed up and showed out and showed them up for the mediocres that they are. And air them out. I'm just saying. And look at this. Ex-Army team guarding Pippa and family since their profile soars at royal wedding. Yes, they gave the Middletons security. But then when Meghan just begs for security or some way to help keep her mother safe, they take that to court and try to use it against her, saying that it was a nasty email, which is comical because I'm telling you, there's some people who can write some nasty emails, and Meghan was not one of them. She was just desperate trying to keep her mother safe and did not want harm to come to Doria. But yet and still, they could do it for the Middletons, but they did nothing for Meghan. And then look at this. Who do the Middletons think they are? Royalty? Pippa's book venture vetted by palace protection officers. They can give who they want to protection. You don't have to be royal. But yet and still, Meghan is a British princess because she married a British prince. She married into the royal family, and they wanted her to have nothing. And here it is on Front Street for everybody to see, and I love it. These people are trash. These people are diabolical. These people are dangerous, and these people are racist. They are. Because why was Meghan treated differently? Differently from any other woman who has ever married into that family. Kate Middleton got security when she was just a girlfriend. Meghan couldn't get security. Well, Harry had to insist that she got it because they didn't want to give it to her as his wife. What's the difference here? What is going on here? I love that it all being exposed. And Harry also signaled that it's more. It's a lot more. These people have done so many treacherous things. These lizard people, these cold-blooded people that ice water runs through their veins have done so much to Harry and Meghan. I'm just saying. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this one up. And this is another one I had to sit in for a minute. I really did. I had to sit in this, what Harry said. He said, not only did they decide to remove my security in the UK, but they also signaled to every single government around the world not to protect us. They absolutely signaled to Nigeria, Colombia, and what? Canada, also The Hague, not to protect them, not to protect them. And this right here is getting people really starting to think, if they did this to Harry and Meghan, when we all know that that family is a family that behaves in patterns, they did the same thing to Diana. People are believing that. People are starting to say that. People are starting to call for an investigation because if they were this deadly and this treacherous and this diabolical with Harry and Meghan, who's to say what was done to Diana? I have said it time and time again. It just worked out too well for Charles. It did. Him and his horse never lost a stride. They had the plan in place. They had the PR machine in motion to get that horse where she is today. And that is with the big hat on her head. But it's not working out the way they thought it was because they are so unpopular. Harry is Diana's revenge. And I love that for them. I love it for Charles because he did everything to snuff Diana's, just her complete existence out. He did. And so did his horse. And here Harry is airing them all out, showing them up for exactly what they are. And I love it for him and I love it for Diana. And this particular squatty said this: when Charles tried to stop other countries to prevent them from keeping his own son and grandchildren safe, the public has every right to question Diana's demise. Evil beyond bounds. Because if he has this capacity for evil, what did he do to Diana? That's the question. What did he do to Diana? It is a question that needs to be asked. Every time he shows his face, instead of throwing eggs, ask him, what happened to Diana? What happened to her? I'm just saying. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this up. And this particular squatty said this: every day is becoming clearer to me that Princess Diana's accident is looking less accidental, in my opinion. Diana's security was pulled. Chuck and Camilla bashed Diana in the same tabloids that they and Willie used to continue to attack Meghan's mental health. Where's the lie? It's the same playbook. Yes, absolutely. And William's participation in it is what's so disheartening to me. And his handling of his mother's legacy is disheartening to me. Standing on national television, calling her paranoid, not protecting her legacy, like Harry, who went to war and got an apology from the media giant and made them bend the knee and apologize to him and his mother. The difference is stark. That's all I'm saying. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this up. And this particular squatty said this: they pushed Harry and Meghan away and they thought they were going to hurt them easily. But they didn't see two things coming: Tyler Perry and the Sussex Squad. All I can say to that is that 1-2 combination right there has been really hitting them on the head and hammering that stomach of theirs. The Sussex Squad and Tyler Perry came in and absolutely wrecked all plans that they had for Harry and Meghan. All I can say is, where's the lie? I'm looking for it. I don't see any lie detected. I'm just saying. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this one up. And this is what Harry said. This is not me saying this. This is Harry said. And it says, if anything happens to Harry, Meghan, or Archie and Lily, the blame should be put on Charles, Camilla, William, and Kate, anyone employed in the royal household and the British media. Where's the lie? Because Harry pointed the finger at his father and his brother if anything happened to his children. Now, he didn't include himself or Meghan, but we all know the deal. We all know Harry is setting them up. He is protecting his family by saying, if anything happens, look over there. It's their fault. And I love that. Tell me that was not a master stroke. All right, y'all, I'm going to put this up. And if you've been with me a while, you remember when I used to put these clowns up every time I ended a podcast. And then I kind of stopped and went to something else. But I had to reach back and get the clowns, because let me tell you what we have found out through Harry's interview and Harry's letter, that these two are nothing but clowns. They're nothing but clowns. And so I just had to, so I had to reach back and bring in the clowns. Sing my song, Where Are the Clowns? And I don't know the song, but yes, I had to bring in the clowns. And first up is Bozo Charles. He is such a clown. He has had every opportunity in life to be successful. And at every juncture, he has always made the wrong decision. Every time. He has always made the clown move. And that's why he is a clown. And that is why he's so unpopular. That's why he's such a trash father, trash grandfather, and trash monarch. His kingdomship is going to go down in history as mediocre, as it should, as it should for a clown. This man traded in a Diana for a Camilla. What a clown move. Enough said. Next up is Bobo the clown. That would be Willie. Willie is a clown because he doesn't understand, or he doesn't get it, or he doesn't have enough insight to know that the only person in his life that loves him unconditionally is his brother. But he has declared war on his brother. Why? Because he feels his brother absolutely married better than him, is better than him at every twist and turn. You see, Bobo here, he doesn't see his brother as an asset. He sees him as an adversary. He doesn't see his brother, who loves him more than anything, that will work his heart out for him to become a successful king. He doesn't see that. He sees him as an adversary, something to be destroyed, because it stirs the demons in his spirit. Yes, Bobo the clown, he will continue with his nonsense and his crying, his whining, his holding his stomach, and absolutely choking out butlers as time goes by, as he has to sit back and watch his brother continue to overshadow him and absolutely continue to rise and level up time and time again. Because as you can see, Bobo is a sad clown because he walks around looking like he is searching for his crack pipe instead of instead of searching for what he needs to search for, and that would be reconciliation with his beloved brother. So sad. So sad. Bobo the clown, everybody. Bobo the clown. All right, y'all. I will see y'all later. Bye.